I would like to talk about MapReduce and as it applies to JavaScript and also MongoDB. So let's get started. So here I have the Chrome console login and I just basically declare an array called test which has three elements, 1, 2, 3. So I would just demonstrate the map function, which basically takes the input array, and for each individual item, it will apply this function. And as you can see in this function, I'm taking the individual item and just doubling it. So the result should be a new array, which comes out as 2, 4, and 6, which is basically done this. And then there's another concept that you can apply in JavaScript to reduce to an array. So here I'm just taking the same array 1, 2, 3, reducing it, applying a function. Total is the current total that is being maintained, and item is the current item in the array. And you can initialize it to a default value, the total, which is normally just set to 0. So all I'm doing is saying return total plus item. So it should basically count the total of all the items in the array 1, 2, 3, and it should give me 6. And you can see that's what it is. So you can see we have a concept of map and reduce in JavaScript, and let's see how it applies to MongoDB. So I'm going to use RoboMongo. This is a GUI which you can try. I mean, it's a little bit better than just using the Mongo shell, and it provides a better control. So I have a database called exp and a collection called text, and I have 4 items in here. And as you can see, I can look at the 4 items. I keep the items necessarily too small so I can illustrate what I want to show. So if you look at the first document, it's basically the owner is John and it's called book 3. The second item, the owner is Yogi, and it also has another field which says borrowed is true. So I can illustrate to you how the map reduce functionality works. And then we have another document which is owned by John, and then there's another document owned by Yogi. So let's say we wanted to find out how many documents are owned by Yogi and John, and how would we go about doing this through the MongoDB MapReduce. So if you want to learn and follow up and how the MapReduce works, you can take a look at this in the MongoDB manuals called the MapReduce. Typically, we would supply a map function, and then you have a reduce function, and this is how you specify the output and also to restrict the number of elements that are going to be in the query. So let's just go one by one and I will show you how you can specify these functions. So I have written something for you. Let me just delete this thing for a second here. Okay. So I'm specifying a map function, which is basically very simple. For each key value, it returns an emit, and emit is saying this dot owner. You can see in my database, since I had the one of the field is owner, it says for each owner you can just emit the title. And the way the emit works, if there are multiple keys or multiple values for the same key, it will make an array out of it. So that's what the map function is basically doing here. And in the reduce stage, what we do is we end up getting the key and the value which we already had. And in this case, I'm not really interested in the key. All I'm going to do is all the values I'm getting in the array, I'm going to join them as a string. So this is what it is doing, return value.join. And here is the final function that I'm applying called the map reduce. The map is going to be this, the reduce is going to be this, and here is my output function. So let me just show you the output. Here, instead of outputting it to a collection, I want to just output it in line so I can see the results. So this is basically the option. Here is my map function and here is my reduce function. So if I take all of this, copy this into my RoboMongo shell, and if I run it, you will see I get a result which basically says ID is John because that's what all my key is, and here it can show me that he has book 3 and book 1, and Yogi has book 2 and book 3. And other thing I can show you is how to use the query in the to reduce it. So I'm going to put it back again, but I deleted. So it's right back in again here, copy all of this. And all it is going to do is to reduce basically the query will reduce the functionality to the item where was borrowed. And as you can see in my original collection, that only one item is borrowed, so that's what it is going to show up here as a result of MapReduce. So I would encourage you to try out this functionality, but basically to reiterate, it's pretty straightforward. You use MapReduce, you apply a function called map, and this is emitting key and a value, and then you do the reduction, and then this is where you restrict the output results and get the actual inline or in collection. If you want to learn more about this and other videos, you can go to my website, Gore Associates, and you can check for these and other videos. For example, to just check MongoDB, you can type in MongoDB and you can find more videos for all over the internet. And thank you for taking the time to watch this short screencast.